Hey, Fight fans, it's Michelle Joy Phelps, and I'm joined now with Eddie Hearn. Eddie, nice to see you again.
See you nice.
Huh?
All right, it's an English thing. Bruce Forsyth.
Okay.
Nice to see you. It's a game show host.
Okay.
Nice to see you. And then the crowd goes, to see you, nice.
You know what? You say a lot of crazy shit, right? Which is why people tend to...
Put me on
You
memes.
become like a meme. You become like a fixture in the meme world.
Yeah, great.
Yeah.
It's always what I've wanted to achieve.
You know what? You should just blow everyone else out of the water and just start creating your own at home. Only you know what you're...
Yeah, exactly.
Well, anyways, we just wrapped up the fight. Andrade won. Okay, let's get straight to it because, to be honest with you, a lot of people are getting really frustrated at the idea that they're not seeing Andrade in with the guys that we want to see him in with, Charlo, even Saunders or Canelo. What do you need to do at this point, or what does he need to do at this point to make it happen?
It's not really him, and it's not, well, I say it's not really me, but like we've made some huge offers to people. They just don't fancy the Demetrius Andrade fight. It's become like he calls himself the boogeyman, where it's like, oh no, not Andrade. You know, like he's got his tough style, he's tough to beat, you know, and he is. He's very, very good. But there comes a time where people have to try and think about their legacy. They've made the money, and they'll make more money. But it's time, you know, and it's time for Charlo, and it's time for Billy Joe Saunders, and it's time for Callum Smith, and it's time for Jamie Munguia to step up and test themselves, and time for Demetrius, you know what I mean? So that's what we got to do. I mean, I really feel like the Billy Joe Saunders fight is a fight that could be made quite easily, but Billy Joe Saunders might get Canelo, you know, so. The Charlo fight is open to those guys on this platform, on Fox, whatever they want. I just want to see Demetrius tested. I want to see how good he is. You know, I know he's really good, but is he going to rise above the levels when he steps up the competition?
Now, we know we were hearing constantly that it seemed as though Canelo was going to go with Murata. I'm sorry.
Murata, I say Murata. You like that one, don't you?
Yeah. Okay, so, and it looks now likely, according to new reports, that Billy Joe is back in the mix, and so is Callum's name. It seemed there for a second it wasn't going to happen. You obviously are the person that Golden Boy needs to speak with, that Canelo needs to speak with. Could you give us any form of insight in terms of how hard you've gone to bat for your guys to try to get the fight?
You don't really go into bat for it. I've spoken to both guys about it. You have to wait for the call, you know, like. I've spoken to Eric Gomez, and he knows Callum Smith and Billy Joe Saunders are ready to go for that fight, obviously. There hasn't been any negotiations yet for either guy. I think they're both in the hat. And that's it. You know, both guys I'm keeping up to date with to let them know of any developments, of which, like, quite honestly, there haven't really been any, other than we know we are being seriously considered for this fight. So, unfortunately, we're waiting for the golden ticket, which is the phone call to say, right, how much do you want? This is what we're going to offer you. And then the negotiation starts, and then maybe they offer both guys and see the best deal they can do for Canelo. I don't know, but like I said, both guys, Billy and Callum, waiting, ready to take the opportunity if it comes.
It's really hard to say what's going on because on one hand, Canelo's saying, yeah, I would fight Billy Joe or Callum, and then on the next hand, you have Oscar saying, not happening. Yeah. You know, it's like you just don't know what to think, but it's definitely seems as though Oscar doesn't like either one of them as Canelo's next opponent.
Yeah, maybe, but you know, Canelo's going to decide the opponent. Yeah. We're going to stay quiet and not ruin anyone's chances by calling anyone out or upsetting anyone. We'd be extremely grateful for the opportunity, both of those guys. I would love them to get the opportunity, and I hope one of them do. And if it's one of them, I hope the other one gets it after that. So ultimately, Canelo will decide who's next.
We know that Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder have a third fight in place. At least that's what we're being told. But we know that Anthony Joshua is now saying he's okay with the 50-50 split.
Well, he hasn't officially said that. I said that to make the fight happen, you would probably have to do a 50-50 split.
Is he not okay with that?
Hasn't been discussed.
Okay. But you're okay with it?
I said to make the fight happen, you will probably have to do a 50-50 split. I don't believe that's right because I know the numbers that Anthony Joshua is doing and making and the other guys aren't. But it's irrelevant. If they won't fight him without that split, you either give it to them or the fight don't happen. And last time we offered them both 60-40, which was well beyond what they deserved at the time, and they didn't take it, and we passed. Next time, you know, they're not going to take 60-40 with the winner, you know. So it's again, as much as Canelo's the boss, AJ's the boss, and he will make the decisions along with us and the team. But he will make the final decision on what people get offered and what the deal is.
But again, when we're talking about legacy, like how much money, and this is really going to sound ignorant coming from me because I can't speak, I really can't speak for someone who's making.
Don't say what someone texted me the other day.
What?
How much money do you need? Like, it doesn't work like.
No.
Someone said to me the other day, why doesn't he just take like a quarter to do it in England? It's like, can you imagine that conversation where me, the promoter, goes into a room with a trainer and an advisor and manager and the fighter and says, now I would like you to take this much over this much because Billy from Sheffield said that you must do it. Do you know what I mean? Like, but there is an element where you have to give that margin away to make the fight, right? So what you're saying is like, okay, you're talking about 5 or 10%. How much is that going to cost you? 15 million, right? It's a lot of money, but it's like you have to do it or it won't happen. And it's going to take someone to step up and lose a little bit of face or ego. I've been there before. I remember particularly with Carl Froch against George Groves. God, it was a nightmare after that first fight. Like no one, it's like a percent. No one would move a percent. Do you know what I mean? It was like, oh, guys. But that's what you're dealing with. And but we'll see.
I think we're pretty much saying the same thing. Like, it's just at some point it does come down to legacy, doesn't it? Like, if you really want to be the one who holds all the belts, you have to kind of budge.
Say, well, why didn't the other guys take 60-40 last time when they had no profile, no money? Like,
no, you know what? I have said that, and I've been really frustrated at the idea that we didn't get that fight.
It's got to work both ways, you know. Oh, AJ offers him 60-40. Oh, well, why didn't he just offer him 50-50? Well, why didn't they just take it? If they care so much about being undisputed, I mean, they would have made 5 times more than they've ever made before, you know? But anyway, listen, we've been there before. Let's see what happens in February, and then we'll do our best to try and make it. It's up to AJ. I'm sure that he knows that fight has to be made, and he wants that fight bad, and he'll do everything he can to make that fight.
What do you make of Tyson Fury switching trainers and really trying to aim for a knockout now rather than just the...
I'm not sure they will. Sugar Hill was a very good trainer. Tyson Fury has an excellent boxing brain. I don't know what happened with Ben Davison, but you know he deserves a lot of credit for getting Tyson back on the horse. And I wish Tyson all the best. I hope he does it.
But changing his approach, going from what works to being risky, because
he's saying that, right? Yeah. So we'll see on the night. I don't think Tyson will change his style. I think he'll be the same herky-jerky, awkward, you know, tough to hit, and he ain't going to come out and start being aggressive. It's not the way he boxes. That's just probably saying that at the press conferences to try and, you know, get people talking and confuse Wilder, but he's going to box exactly the same way he boxed in the first fight.
Pulev or Usyk is next for
Pulev.
Joshua? Okay.
Yeah, Pulev. The IBF mandatory's first, then the WBO mandatory. So
I'm glad that got worked out.
Yeah. It's just, we knew, like, it's hard because we represent Usyk as well, so we've got to kind of push for all guys. Yeah. Usyk will fight Chisora more than likely. We'll wrap that up next week. Joshua will fight Pulev, hopefully wrap that up next week, and then the winners, I guess, will fight the winners, unless we land the Wilder Fury winner.
And lastly, what do you make of Big Baby Miller signing with Top Rank?
Yeah, listen, I wish him all the best, you know, I mean,
I guess I take it that you didn't want to sign him, because I know he kept saying, I wanted to sign with you.
He didn't want to sign with anyone else but me, not being big-headed, but he asked me 100 times, and I just couldn't do it. Like, he cheated so bad, and there was no ban, there was no remorse. There was, you know, and it's just crazy that you can just stroll back into a multi-million-dollar deal without serving a ban or even really saying sorry, you know? But it's over, it's done. I like Baby Miller. I wish him the very best. And listen, he's going to be in some big fights. Unfortunately for me, I just couldn't bring myself to do it. You know, I could have made some big fights for him. Maybe Joshua again. Dillian White fight would have been huge. But with everything that I said, and I'm a hypocrite. I'm sure I've been a hypocrite in the past, but for that, nah.
Did you hear about what happened with Ivan Redcash?
Yeah, he got his purse taken away, didn't he, for buying someone?
I mean, I just think that something like that, if you're gonna slap a fine and do something of that nature for somebody who bit someone. It should be done the same across the board with drug cheats.
The problem was Jarrell Miller didn't have a license, so he couldn't actually get fined by commission. That was the problem.
But you have to admit that Ivan stuff was totally unfair.
But it's pretty, well, he shouldn't have bitten.
Well, no, you shouldn't have,
Yeah,
but a lot of people shouldn't have done a lot of other things, and they still got to walk in.
But what I would say is really straightforward. The WBO, the WBC, the IBF, and the WBA get together. If anyone fails a drugs test, minimum 1 year ban, right? Universal. It's not hard to do, is it?
No, it's not.
And if they fail for this, 2 years. And if they fail twice, 5 years.
Permanent.
Like, I mean,
Yeah.
but no one wants to do it because they're afraid that a golden goose might get tested positive, and then you've got, what are you going to do? Ban someone who brings the sanctioning body so much money? That's what you're dealing with. I tell you,
politics.
people.
All right, thank you so much for your time. It's good seeing you.
All right, Nish.
Nish. And I will see you. Where's the next one I'm going to say?
Sheffield?
No.
So you live in England, but you're not coming to the Kell Brook fight?
He's going. I'm going back to see my family. I'm going to take some time. Then I'm going to go to the Wilder Fury rematch, and then I fly back to England, and then I'm there.
See you soon.
For your Manchester show.
Yes, quick.
Hi fans, it's Michelle Joy Phelps. If you haven't already subscribed to our YouTube channel, make sure you go ahead and do so by clicking this icon right here, or else